In primary 6, Callum and his younger brother Aaron lived with their mum Kelly and their dad Kevin, who were caught in a cycle of domestic violence. Due to the violence in their home, Callum, his brother and his mum moved to a Women's Aid house on the other side of Fife, leading Callum to transition to a new primary school, a third for him. By primary 7, his mum's mental health deteriorated, resulting in her hospitalisation. Callum and Aaron were sent back to live with their dad, which meant another school change for them. The transition took 3 months, and by then Callum was nearly halfway through primary 7. Unfortunately, most teachers were unaware of his background, making it hard for him to feel understood. He needed a safe person who he could build a relationship with. Callum began acting out in class, desperate for attention, a silent cry for help. As this happened often, to avoid any ongoing classroom disruption, the head teacher took him to her office, where she learned more about his situation and offered him a nurturing space, not realising that whilst this helped with his behaviour, it held him back in terms of preparation for high school. Callum enjoyed this relationship with his head teacher, but he felt stigmatised and labelled, leading him to cope through smoking cannabis. Callum's dad would never answer the phone to the school, as there had been so many different schools and teachers to build relationships with. He finds trust and communication difficult. He had issues with addiction and poverty, both of which greatly impacted Callum, but nobody knew what Callum faced when he went home. Tragedy struck when Callum's mum passed away from a drug overdose, plunging him into grief. This worsened his dad's substance use, forcing Callum into a young carer's role, where he cooked meals and made sure his younger brother Aaron got to school on time. Social work had come out to do a check, but as everything looked okay and as he was attending school, the case was not picked up. They were unaware that Callum was sitting in with the head teacher, doing admin work, not attending class. When Callum's primary 7 transition came, he was flagged for enhanced transition, which heavily relied on Dad engaging with yet another school, which he struggled to do. Callum was referred to Clued Up on the last day of term. However, he didn't engage until the school went back after summer, because his dad didn't answer the unknown number. On his first day, a teacher said to Callum, "Are you late on your first day? Did your mum not wake you up this morning?" Unaware that his mum had passed only weeks prior. This angered Callum, as even though he struggled to make it this morning due to caring responsibilities and anxiety, he still made it. He left school to go and smoke cannabis with some older friends. Callum tried with school again the following week, but his frustration boiled over in English class after being asked to write an essay about himself, leading to him kicking off and storming out. He was taken away in handcuffs by the school police officers, feeling branded by his last name and the expectations that came with it. Callum said he felt wrote off before he even walked in the doors because of who his family were. Gradually, engagement with supportive staff improved, allowing Callum to express his struggles, and this is where they discovered that he hadn't engaged academically due to the chaos of his life. Callum stated that the only reason he kicked off was because he didn't know how to spell his name, let alone write an essay about himself. Callum was not allowed back to school after the incident in his English class, and he was told to attend a community provision to plug the gaps in his learning. He felt this is what was needed, but he struggled to engage due to the stigma associated. Shortly after this, Callum turned up to the sports day at the main school to participate, but he was met by two police officers who removed him as he was not supposed to be there. He felt isolated and judged. Despite the challenges, Callum formed a bond with a new guidance teacher and information sharing improved, leading to a glimpse of hope. Just as things began to improve, Callum's guidance teacher changed for the third time in 4 months. He seen this as another form of rejection and loss, and decided he didn't want to build a relationship with any more teachers as he was worried they would leave. Feeling hopeless, Callum decided that school didn't matter anymore. His dad reinforced this belief, suggesting he could get a job at 16 instead. Callum's journey wasn't an easy one. From battling poverty and trauma to enduring the pain of grief and domestic violence, every step was marked by barriers that many of us can't imagine. The constant transitions between schools, the challenges of high school preparation, and the struggles of feeling out of place in a system that didn't always understand him. These were just some of the obstacles that stood in his way.